Hello, my name is Woody. This is Changing the House of Pods, a podcast about Deftones. Today, my friend Miguel Sanchez and I are going to give you a recap of our experiences last weekend at Dia De Los Deftones 2022. What an incredible time. So much so that it not only required this impromptu episode, but damn it, I've been singing Cherry Waves for a week straight. Can't get it out of my head. Don't want to. Just so good. Obviously, the eye-popping set list prompted a lot of oohs and ahs, both from fans in attendance and across the world, as news of what was played made its way online. And we did our best to describe the experience while we enjoyed a few cocktails over Zoom. But before we get to the performances, we're going to talk about the other parts of the festival. The sights, the smells, the atmosphere, the vibe. We're going to try to give you a sense of what it felt like to be there. I mean, my wife and I had this elote. Oh my God. And the lowriders. I mean, just so sick. You've seen the videos, or at least I hope you have. Dia De Los Deftones just has this special feeling to it. It's unlike any festival I've been to. So we're going to try to give you a sense of that here. And because so much of what makes Dia De Los Deftones so special are the people in attendance, that's where we're going to start. Because Miguel and I both ran into a number of amazing people. One of whom gave me, how do I put it? Some very exciting news about Deftones. Very exciting if true. So listen for that. And for me, it was particularly exciting to dap up a few previous podcast guests. I'll tell you about that. But perhaps most incredibly, Miguel actually shook hands with one of the guys in the band. And damn it, he met Tom DeLonge.
Okay, so a little preface to that. So this guy randomly comes up to me. I'm holding the spots here, right? You went to go see Freddie Gibbs. I'm like, I got all the spots here. Turnstile gonna come on, right? And I didn't know how crazy it was gonna get. So this random dude comes up to me, man. He's like, yo, what's up, man? Just started shooting the shit. Really, really nice guy. He didn't have to do that. And I was like, oh, cool, man. Yeah, just talking briefly. And I was like, you ever seen Turnstile? He's like, nah, I'm gonna see him tonight, but I'm gonna see him with Blink 182. I was like, oh, that's cool, man. All right. Yeah, badass. So, he goes to his group and I'm just standing, just waiting, right? And I keep looking back. I'm seeing, if you and wife here are coming by. So I'm like, okay, look back. And then I catch this guy. He kind of catches me off guard because he's like solid, a tall, solid guy. And I'm like, who's this dude? And I look up. He's got two girls side by side, really close. So,
and they're bad. They're both bad.
Oh yeah. And I look up, wearing a beanie, fucking Tom DeLonge.
Wow. Bro.
I was like, what the fuck?
Wow, bro.
So then my first instinct, I literally just had this conversation with this dude. I go right up to him. It's like, he's like 2 steps away. I'm like, bro. He's like, what's up, man? I'm like, look who's behind me. He didn't even recognize it. He didn't really see. He's like, who's that? And I'm like, it's Tom DeLonge. Dude, his expression just changed automatically. Right away, he was like, can you take a picture of me with him? And I'm like, listen, man, we got to be low pro. Like, he's just trying to have a good time. Like, let's just be really chill. I didn't know how he was going to act. He said, all right, cool. So Tom's he's sitting down at this point, 2 ladies side by side. And this guy goes up to him and he's like, hey, Tom, big fan, like, hey, can I take a picture with you? And Tom's like, as long as you come down here, yeah. This guy's a really big dude. I've never seen a dude squat so quick, that big in my life, bro. I was like, oh, shit.
So Tom DeLonge was like sitting? He was like sitting down?
He was initially standing. And then when I told the dude about it, we went, we walked towards Tom's direction. I guess he was sitting down at that point. So he told him to come down. So I got down on one knee and I was taking a picture. And yeah, man, clean picture. And so Tom looks at me, I guess, expecting, that I wanted a picture. And I was kind of like more like chill. And I was like, hey, man, so I saw you with Blink at the Hollywood Palladium during the Dude Ranch tour.
That's so fucking rad.
This was high school. And he looked at me, he was like, well, that was a very long time ago. I'm like, yeah, no shit, right? Like, I always remember that. So enjoy your night.
Dude, that's so tight. So you just got that in, dapped him up. What a pro. What a vet. You mess with celebs in your day. That's so fucking tight, dude. Tom DeLonge. I wonder if he did. That was during the Freddie Gibbs set?
During the Freddie Gibbs
or
set.
Or Turnstile already started? Because Turnstile was right after Freddie Gibbs. Like, that shit was like clockwork. They must have been running late or something.
Yeah.
Because it was like, it ended, and we could hear from Freddie Gibbs, like we could hear Turnstile starting. So it was like during the beginning of Turnstile?
It was right before Turnstile went on. And I look back during the first couple of Turnstile songs, and he was still there. And then maybe after the third one, he left.
Right when we fucking got back over there. Right when we showed up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, people started hitting him up too, I noticed, after the initial dude went out. I was like, man.
You're like, look what I started. This motherfucker's like, I just wanted to see Turnstile before. I just want to see who's opening for. Yeah. I wonder if he'd ever seen Turnstile. That might have been his first time, right? Take him around the world and never seen him before?
Bro, that is a great thought, right? Like, that was probably his first.
I feel like it's possible. It's very possible. You might have fucked up Tom DeLonge's first shot.
Probably. I probably fucked up his time at the two ladies.
I doubt it. I bet he recovered. He bounced back. He seems like the type of cat that bounced back. When you learn about the aliens before everybody else, you bounce back.
Dude, I was just shocked at how athletic this dude looked. Like, solid.
He doesn't look like that. Yeah, like that. Like wiry. Like all the small. Like he was thinking of him like a little ass dude. Like, but he's not. He's not no more.
Is this frame, bro? I was like, God damn, he could be like an athlete, football player, wide receiver or something. Like,
he went away, came back. He went away for a little bit. He said, I'm coming back. I'm not gonna let them fuck with me no more. I'm gonna be big ass Tom. I'm gonna be Thomas DeLonge. I'm gonna be the longest. That's that. I can't believe you saw Tom DeLonge. It fucking blows my mind, dude.
Those vocals would be like all the
small things. Their new shit. He kind of sounds like that. They got a new song out, and it's he does kind of. I'm feeling it. No, it's not like that, but
yeah, that was one of the most random things that night.
That was hella random, but certainly not the most random. Actually, I think the most random, while we're on the topic of people, was at the very end of the night. Let's fast forward to the end of the night when we're walking out and we were like in the vending area. We were like right in the, I guess, like inside the stadium or like in that between spot as we're leaving. And how did were we waiting for my wife to come out of the can or something? Like what were we doing?
Yeah, we had gone. I think each of us went to the bathroom and then we were waiting. At that point, because it was just you and me. And I wanted to test that theory, bro. I told you. So, especially after listening to it, the cherry waves, bro. We heard it, and I was like, it took me back to when I heard it at the Avalon in LA, bro.
You told me a funny story about going out of a venue or walking out of a spot, and you saw these like big, heavy ass metalheads singing that, like
So like the Palace. We went to the Palace. Yeah, and God, I don't know what it is now, but that's off of Vine, right by the Capitol Records. And that was a great fucking show. And as we were walking out, fucking these big burly motherfuckers, like they're fucking metalheads and stuff, right? Like Hispanic guys, really metaleros, I guess you call them or something. But it's fucking just like drunk and singing it. You say down. I was like, man, Chino got these metalheads swooning right now.
Right.
That's dope.
That's super dope, man.
Yeah.
Everybody feels that shit.
I saw these dudes next to us.
And they didn't. I'm not trying to be like stereotype or anything, but they looked tough. They looked like some tough cats.
They were super cool too. But like I put it to the test. I was like, You, bro. You
the
tell
dog
me.
ears on them motherfuckers was like, "Roop."
What did that dude say? Cherry waves, dog. And then he sang it back to me.
He did. He sang it right back. He sang it right back. You. That shit was, man. That shit is science now. Mark it down as fact. That is the realest shit ever. Motherfuckers cannot deny the you.
Dude, I don't care how tough you are. I know you'll give it.
Both of them. And then his homie came in too, like almost like in harmony. And he was like, you. He got him like a little higher. So they were doing that shit together. And then then you started chopping it up with him or whatever.
Bro, and conversation led to like this most random thing too. What, he's an alternate juror.
He was like, I gotta get back to jury duty or some shit now. Right? Is that how he hit it? That was so weird. It was like, what?
Yeah. I guess we were just talking about, what do you do? Where are you from? He's like, yeah, I'm doing jury duty right now, and guess you'll never believe it. And at that point, he caught my attention. I was like, what do you mean? What case are you on? He's like, I'm on the Weinstein case.
Bro, that shit was weird. We're like, what? And then I feel like other people who are in earshot also caught their attention. They were looking over their shoulder.
I'm like, that shit's still going on? Like, and yeah, he had some stuff to share about that.
He had some little tidbits. He was like, that motherfucker got some good lawyers. Or some shit like that. The way he made it sound was like, it sounded good for Harvey Weinstein, which was very disappointing. Like it was unsettling. It was unsettling, but more than unsettling, it was just fucking weird and wild. It was just weird that the whole evolution from Cherry Waves to Weinstein was like, what? What? How? What?
He's like,
crazy.
One thing I kept thinking about was, why did they keep coming back? Why did they keep coming back?
Right?
Like, damn, the fucking justice system, bro. Just. Oh Jesus! Yeah, man. that was cool. Cool kid too.
He was super tight.
First time seeing Deftones.
He said that was his first time, huh?
Yeah.
Man, that he's never gonna see a show like that ever again.
Oh.
We're gonna get to the show though. We're gonna get to the show a little bit later, because there were still a ton of people that we ran in. I mean, as you would expect, you know what I mean? Like as this podcast is going on, I've met some different folks. And namely some of the guests. Did I tell you that I ran into Danielle Parsons? Actually, she was running. I think it was during what was it, Audrey Nuna's set. And she was, by the way, phenomenal. Like she was so good. But like Danielle, all of a sudden I like look over to my right and I see Danielle like ducking down, like bobbing and weaving through the crowd. And so I sort of ducked down below and I like tapped her on the elbow as she was like skirting past.
Right.
And she was like, it gave me like a quick hug. It was super cool. She was like, I gotta go, because she was working. Did you know that she was working? So she got hired to work. Like, okay, bro, listen to this. Frank Delgado handpicked Danielle to shoot Dia. Had to review, like he went out, he had Clemente reach out to her. She's like texting. I think she texted me the day that she got, because she knows obviously I love her. So she was like, I gotta tell somebody who's gonna feel this. And she was like, you're never gonna believe this. It was like dream come true for her. Dream come true. She had so many cool. I'm sure you saw some of the pics throughout the day. Like, and she said everybody in the camp. She talked to Abe. He was hella cool. She met everybody in the band but Chino, she said. And I only spent like 2 minutes with her, like not even 2 minutes, like 2 seconds, like saying hi, because she was on her way to shoot. So everything that I learned from her was via text, like after the fact. And dude, I just so proud. Like, just I don't know why. Like I can't be like accredited for. I don't take any ownership of her success, but like it was just so dope. Like it was just so dope to see, and I'm hella geeked to see like her photos, because I haven't seen any of them yet. I haven't seen any of them shots yet. Only her little, behind the scenes Instagram. Nothing official that she's done for the show yet. So I know that shit's hard.
During Cold God, I was there. I think it was before I met up with you. I saw her pass by a couple of times.
Did?
So I recognized her because, you know, I've seen her Instagram, her photos and stuff, and obviously listen to that episode. And, you know, and I don't know what it was with me, but like, you know, knowing you, like, I feel like it's like, oh, like, I'm assuming she knew me, but she has no clue who I am, right? So I'm just like, I see her, and I think we made eye contact, and I smiled because I was just like, oh, hey, I should have probably been like, hey, Daniel, but, you know, just simple smile and stuff. And this look like, huh? Who are you? And I'm like, well, she doesn't know me, right? Like, I was like, oh, shit. But yeah, super cool. I mean, that's I'm really stoked for her too. Shit,
man. I told her now that dream's come true. She got to get that. She got to get that photo shoot. She got to get the promo stuff.
Yeah.
Another podcast guest that I ran into there was Andrew Solis. Super cool ass dude, and I wish I could have chopped it up with him more in person. Hopefully we'll get another opportunity. But that was just dumb exciting, like to see Andrew there. See anybody there would have been hella cool. But on the topic of podcast guests, another person that I saw there, as you know, was Sean Lopez. Ooh. I bumped into Sean, I think, at the end of Turnstile, and he probably too was pissed off at me because I was talking through Turnstile. I was like interrupting him while he was like...
For the record, Sean, I'm sorry. I don't have a mic. I swear I'm going to watch my S's. I'm sorry, bro.
The echo, the reverb in your house, he's probably going, this motherfucker sounds like shit. But he was just so chill, just such a cool person to chat with for just a cool minute. Like, thanks, bro. By the way, I mentioned to him that I did just dropped the episode with Jeff from Will Haven.
Oh, yeah.
Had some incredible things to say. So hopefully Sean gets to check that episode. And of course, I told him, I was like, Vivian's my song of the year, bro. That shit hits. So granted, I haven't heard the rest of the album yet. I guess in another month we'll hear the other songs they haven't dropped. But man,
yeah. They're hella teasing, man, for sure. I was like, just drop it already.
All right. But like Jeff from Will Haven was saying too, like, one at a time makes sense too. Like, we put a lot of work into this one motherfucking song. Soak that shit up, eat it for a while, chew on it. You know what I mean? And then come back for the next one in a little bit. So I can appreciate the method of release, but I'm just excited there's going to be a release more than anything. And Sean was chill. I didn't ask him for a pick either. I thought about it for a second, but I was like, I'm gonna be cool. You know who I wasn't cool with? OG DJ Crook. Man, I was way too lit when I saw Crook. Dude. It was at the end of Freddie Gibbs, and I spotted him. I was so drunk, and I was having a blast. I loved Freddie Gibbs, like, second favorite set of the day. And then I saw Crook. I was like, oh shit. I told my wife, I was like, I'll be right back. So then I popped like behind some folks and like around the crowd to go look for him where he was standing like along the fence on that, on the street stage or whatever. And I looked, and he was gone. And I was like, shit. So I went back to my wife, and I was like, I missed him. And then I looked over where he was, and I was like, I didn't miss him. I just didn't see him. His ass was still standing in the same spot. That's how drunk I was when I approached OG Crook. Man, I know he didn't hear for a fact. Like, he didn't hear one thing. I was like, yo, OG, what's up, man? I love you, dog. I love Team Sleep, man. Can I get a pic? I'm sure that's how I was like, please be on the podcast, homie. Crook, if you ever catch I doubt he'll ever catch the podcast. If anybody knows Crook and catch the podcast, tell him I apologize for being an ass.
Dude, Todd Wilkinson was roaming around there too.
I saw Todd on the pic. Yeah, dude, if I would have ran into Todd, probably would have been the same.
Yeah, those demos, Todd. The demos,
dude. That probably would have been the conversation too. Hey, bro, them Team Sleep demos are fire.
Oh, they still go hard.
You'll drop those. Do an official re-release. So that was over at that where I saw Crook was at that side stage. You had maybe a more interesting, not more interesting is the right word, but man, you saw Steph over there, dog.
Bro,
you ran into Steph, Joe.
So shout out to Andy, Astro Parallax.
Yeah, what up, Andy?
We've been chatting with that dude forever.
I love Andy, man. Andy's the shit.
It's great. He's got some great memes too, so it's good to be his friend.
Andy, what's up, dude? Andy's the shit.
we hung out at the show. We met up and we're just walking around. We were checking out Provoker. I think this might have been before I met up with you.
I think it was Provoker. It must have been like right before. No, because we saw you at Cold God.
Oh,
we came at the end of Cold God.
That's right. You were merch or exchanging the sides, right? Or something.
Oh, that was when we went to go fail at exchanging my wife's sweatshirt.
Shit.
Oh man, for five. Oh.
So we're just standing. We got a pretty good angle of Christian Chino's son, just playing like electric drums and stuff. It's cool. They Provoker is my vibe, bro. The goth post.
They're right in your wheelhouse. Right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah. I'm like, I dig this. We're just standing there hanging out, and then some dude in a gray hoodie is walking by, and he stops because he notices Andy's hoodie, the Strong.
He had the Halloween Strong hoodie on. Yeah, that's his thing, right?
And Steph stopped right in his tracks, dude. He looked at Andy, kind of pointed, and he was like nodding his head, and didn't say anything, but like he offered to shake his hand and stuff. And I was just standing there, like I knew it, like right away. I was like, "This fucking Steph." Nobody knew, like nobody around us, nothing. It was just me and Andy that just caught it right away. And I was like, standing there, and then Steph looks at me, and he's like, he offered to shake my hand, and I was like. And I shook it, and I guess I grabbed like the lighter that was in his head, and he kind of like pulled back. And I'm like, "Oh my bad, dude! Like I'm not trying to like take your lighter." And then he shook my hand again, and I was just like, the whole time, all I said was, "Thank you, thank you." Like I was just in awe. I so unexpected.
I love that. God, that's fucking cool. Damn, I was really so hopeful to like see Chino. Like watching Provoker, you know what I mean? But for you to like catch Steph checking him is like, that's just the dopest shit, man.
Wow.
That's just the dopest shit.
That was great.
And you and Andy saw Juan too, right?
Yeah. So like before that, Andy had told me, he's like, "Yeah, I just ran into Juan or something." And I was like, "Oh, cool, man." I'm like, fucking Juan's always cool. And then we ran into him when I was hanging out with Andy. We came up again. I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, "Hey Juan, what's up?" He's like, "Hey man, what's up?" Like, dude, always. Never a fucking time where like he just, shrugs people off. He's always taking the time to say, "What's up? How you doing?" Sweetest dude. And I was like, "Hey man, like, can we take a picture?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, if you want a picture, let's take a picture." It's like, cool. So, and dude, he had this dope ass fucking wrestling shirt of wrestlers, Sami Zayn. It's what is it? Honorary Ooze. I was like, so he's like not only a wrestling fan, but he's up to date with the wrestling because it's a new shirt. I was like, okay, this dude is my guy. He's dope as fuck. Yeah, so we took a pic. I love Juan, man. He's great. Oh yeah, and then fucking ran into him again when my sister, and shout out to my sister and my brother-in-law. Because they gave me a ride there and fucking.
And we should mention your sister. I got to meet your sister. That was tight as hell. Shout out to your sister. That was super fun.
So the cool thing is we ran into, because I've talked to Juan years past with my sister because we used to go to the shows and stuff. And like I told that Choni story, right? That like, what? So like the funny thing is, like, yeah, he said hi to my sister stuff. I'm like, "Hey Juan, this is the sister that wanted Chino's Chonies, remember?"
Dude did not.
Like laughing. My sister's like, "Really, dude?"
She's like 20 years later, motherfucker.
He's like, "Yeah, you still don't want those, trust me." Yeah, that was great.
That's so cool. God, that rules. Oh my God. Finally, I had a brief encounter with somebody who listens to the podcast who's close to the band, without naming any names or getting too into detail. That person divulged some information to me that I've shared with you that I want to share on this podcast just because I think it's pretty dope. And everybody's been talking about it's been made public that they're working on new music. The Deftones are working on new music. But my understanding from this new source of information, this is breaking news, unless it comes out before the podcast comes out. Word is Deftones are going to head back into the studio like ASAP. So my thinking is they're going to Australia in December, right? They've got the run in December. I think January, bro. I think January they're hitting the studio.
Bro, January they hit the recording studio. In May, during Sick New World, we hear a new track. They did that during Taste of Chaos, right?
Yeah. Vesnik, shout to Vesnik. He dropped something on YouTube or Facebook today. He posted that video because they were performing like Rapture like a whole year before or something, right?
Yeah. I can't wait to get into that set list, by the way.
I know. I'm very excited. But before we get into the set list,
yes,
I want to talk a little bit about just the space, the environment, the festival itself, because you had never been to Dia, and I'd been to the two, which were a little bit different in the stage placement, but otherwise pretty comparable in terms of the presentation and what I would imagine other shows are like. I think Elton John is playing Petco Park tonight. I bet that's probably pretty wild. But also
dude,
I would imagine very similar.
I got that story about that dude I met in the bathroom several places. He worked for Elton John, and they were setting up the stage during Dia.
No
It was
way.
in the stadium, and this guy was from Minneapolis, or he was from Minnesota.
That's right.
And I was like, my homie's from there. Yeah.
That's
He's
right.
Blaine, Minnesota.
He's from Blaine. Yeah. That's I'm not gonna say ritzy, but it's a more affluent suburb of the but that's right. I remember too, like days before Dia, like I think somebody posted a picture from like of the stage being built inside the ballpark. What a trip. And then they like move it out or something. Wow, that's wild to think about, just logistically. But at any rate, for you, talk about your experience, like walking in the gate, seeing that giant, like, what do you even call that archway, that giant deal with the skulls and the carnation, like talk about your experience, like walking into to Dia De Los Deftones.
Well, dude, like first off, like, well, there was two different lines, right? VIP, general admission, and obviously we came in as general admission, and we noticed that the VIP had the mariachi, and we're like, damn it, man. We pulled.
Oh, nobody else got to see the mariachi. It was just a VIP.
Actually, that changed once they started letting in GA. Then the mariachi showed up. I was like, oh hell yeah! They catered to the public people.
For us too.
So like we're coming in and there's a mariachi playing, and you know, this big arch banner, like you said, Dia De Los Deftones, like I automatically, like, I fell into it. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be good. Dude, we were talking to people in line. I mean, this is like, once again, and I find this to be, well, this has kind of always been the case. We're all cool, man. Like once we start talking, we share a love, right? And like, we're talking to people in line. There's people coming from Phoenix, or people coming from Colorado. It's just like, bro, this is great, man. And so we're walking in to a mariachi under the banner. There's this great floral presentation where me and my sister took a picture. And like, I don't know what it was, because usually I haven't done stuff like this in a while, but I was like, I want to get my face painted. I was like, I want to go all in.
Like I'm in it.
Sorry, it feels great. I got half my face painted. But like, dude, just great fucking energy. Like I said, I had that one dude come up to me that, you know, I ended up connecting him with Tom, and like fucking so many other connections, man. Like it was just good. The ofrenda, like the place of tribute and stuff, like that was deep. That was really nice to see, just people kind of, you know, let out some emotions, but also just, you know, see like a few pictures that I recognize. It was someone put a Dimebag Darrell picture up there. I was like, that's dope. Yeah.
I saw
And I think
Risa posted their dog.
the pup, yeah. So that
That's so
was really
sweet. It's so sweet.
yeah. But like, man, just and I guess you think of I'm no expert on like Dia de los Muertos, but like you think of a holiday like that's supposed to bring, like family together, and ultimately, dude, like I don't mean to sound cheesy, but like we as fans, man, we're kind of family. And that was a good example of it that day, man. It felt great, dude. It was
There is
awesome.
a vibe about like that is sort of the vibe in the air. It's almost like a family reunion in a sense. Like it
Yeah.
really does feel like I was trying to. I don't know who I told it to, but I was like Woodstock '69 would be envious. Like it's that sort of peace, love, and togetherness. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I don't mean to be all like granola or whatever, but it is a very kumbaya sort of vibe, even though we're listening to metal and everything else, gangster rap and all of that shit. But it's like a fraternity. It really is like a family type vibe between people. Like there's, I don't know. It's unlike other concert going experiences that I've had. It's really
Bro,
unique.
this dude Andy, man, he was like every other person. Hey, yo, what's up, man? Yo, what's up? I was like, damn,
Yeah,
man, right? And
yeah,
it's just probably people from like Instagram or something,
for
But
sure.
like, that's dope as
I
fuck,
love it. I
right?
know
Like,
there's a handful, like actually more than a handful, couples of handfuls of people that I was hoping I would have got to catch while out there that I've connected with from Instagram. Hopefully people that'll be on the podcast this season so we could talk about their experience or this next season. But yeah, that's the thing. But also too, some things I would love to note for people who weren't able to attend. So you walk through, I guess like what do they call that part of the ballpark? Like just outside the gate or like inside
yeah,
and then sort of like it's like through the stadium, but it's not in the stadium. It's like in
yeah,
the
the concessions.
concession area or whatever, right? But then you walk into like the open part of the park outside the park, outside the
So
ballpark,
I
right?
can I can speak to this just because like I've been there before, but I never been to that part of the stadium. Like and
Right.
stadiums in general, man, they're like, depending on how new they are, like they're all different setups. But this stadium right here, and I'm speaking as a Dodger fan, first off, like fuck the Padres. But like they have a beautiful stadium. And the way it's set up, they have like literally a park behind the stadium that I think is connected to the center field section where you can just chill and hang out.
Oh, word.
And that's a grassy part too. So, you can catch a home run for there or something. But and not only that, but you have all these walkways and then you're like connected to like buildings or
Like
like
the city, like downtown. Yeah, you're like all of a sudden you're like it's a metropolitan park. It's like a park in the middle of their downtown. It's unlike any park that I've experienced. It's nothing. We don't have anything like that, similar to that here, at least. It's so unique. But then they really, I don't want to say like they went over the top with the decorations and whatnot, but they found a way to decorate and like with all the banners and more archways, and then the carpets that they rolled out, like the carnation carpet, the black carpets, all those little touches just set it to a whole like different level this year.
Was it not like that the previous years?
No carpets, none of the like some of those things like the banners and the like the traditional like Dia de Muertos banners and stuff that they have up there, like those were in the VIP area in 2019, but I didn't see anything like that in the rest of the park. And then they moved the second stage back to where it was the first year, which I thought was a major it was a smart move, because when it was where it was before was closer to like where we were standing during the show, like during Deftones, but like further back. It was weird. It wasn't as good. It wasn't as
Sounds
successful.
close, too close almost.
It was a little close.
Yeah, crazy.
My only, and I want to put this out there just to show some level of objectivity. My only complaint is motherfuckers had to wait a long ass time for merch. Had to wait a long. I heard some people saying they were waiting an hour plus to get a goddamn t-shirt, and that's just whack. That's just whack. So I hope somebody at Live Nation can figure out like a way. So you scan a digital ticket, you scan a barcode or whatever just to get in the door. When you scan that shit, it should be like, all right, green light. Now you can buy merch on an app, and then we'll give you a little buzz when your shit is ready. Don't make me stand in that shit and miss all of the. It's like, come on, how many t-shirts have we sold over the years? We can figure out a better way to sell some goddamn t-shirts.
Live Nation, give my boy a call, man.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, you're
Just
right.
saying.
I mean,
and add a weed vendor. And add a weed vendor. It's California, goddamn it. Sell some weed at the show.
And if it wasn't for your hindsight or your hack,
dude,
you would have been waiting there for an hour too.
When we walked up and then we like looked over and it was like that third line, there's nobody in that motherfucker. So we slid over there. We didn't wait 10 minutes.
Yeah.
If we waited 10 minutes, it was for me to order all of the shit that I bought because I bought like too much shit. But like that line, we went back for that line to exchange the shirt, and the dude, there was a security standing at the end of it. It was like, nah, you can't. You got to go get in the other line. So we definitely like,
sheesh,
we rigged the system or we did something, but yeah,
dude, we moved so quick that I didn't give my wife too much time to choose what shirt she wanted. I sent her a text, so she gets this long sleeve shirt, and I got my cream shirt with like the pink and the blue.
Yeah,
and I knew as soon as she saw the shirt, she's like, I like your shirt better. I was like, damn it.
That's not your shirt anymore, is it?
Yeah, no,
I know. Yeah, I'm afraid that blue one is not gonna be mine anymore either. That's all right. It's all good. I didn't like the blue one as much anyway.
It's good stuff though. It's good merch, man.
Solid merch. Super excited. I missed so I don't know if you saw it, but Cold God had a mystery item for $60.
No.
And it turns out it was a Kanye t-shirt that it had like current day, present day, crazy looking Kanye on the front. Like it was a black shirt with like a white print of Kanye, and then on the back it said it was like end white shoegaze or something. I'm gonna look it up real fast. I bet I can find that shit in no time. That shit had me dying. I sort of wish that was like the abolish white shoegaze. That's what it is. With Cold God on the front. You see this shit?
Oh shit, that's fucking hilarious. His fucking face.
That was the mystery t-shirt. Can you imagine if you would have bought the mystery item and you would have got that? I would have been so excited.
I mean, that's pretty sick mystery shirt.
Crazy, but excited. Okay. Before we get into the show, the performances, would you like to take a brief beverage refill hiatus?
Yes, please. Mezcal. Cheers.
Mezcal and a Henny. Cheers to you, my friend. I wonder if... Nope. Still the best. Okay. Let's talk about the music. Cold God. Were you familiar with Cold God prior to seeing them?
No, but I kept seeing people post. Did Joe post about Cold God? He did.
Joe's yeah, shout to Joe. Joe's had Cold God on his pod.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, and interesting thing, I saw a dude post. If you haven't checked the Cold God album that dropped this year, it's really good. Shoegaze fans should find it very tasty.
Love me some shoegaze.
But obviously, for a better conversation about Cold God, check fucking Musically Meditated. But that's how I found out about Cold God was through Joe. Didn't really check him too hard until I found out, obviously, that he was going to be at Dia. But then I started really looking and learned that his very first show, like Cold God, the band's very first show, was a year to the day prior to Dia.
Wow. Damn.
How crazy is that, bro?
They're young too, right?
They're kids. All those motherfuckers are kids. Fantagram, Freddie Gibbs, not a child, but everybody else, Turnstile, they're all kids. Like all the motherfuckers are kids, dude. I feel old.
Volker, obviously, yeah, they're kids.
Obviously kids. Yeah, man. But I like Cold God a lot. I like the album a lot. You know, washed guitars. I'm kind of a sucker for big sounding washed guitars, and
Like 5 guitars.
yeah, like they really had like 5
Where
bucks. How do you even? I don't know, but I like it.
loaded from?
I was into
Yeah,
it.
it's a good sound.
And then right after that, Provoker was immediately after them on the same stage. Well, not immediately, but that they were the next band up, right? Or was it? Because there was only one set that I missed, and that was the Destroy Boys. I did not catch them, although they were on the main stage, I believe.
They were hella political, bro.
Word?
Well, I mean, more along the police thing, which is fine, whatever, right? Like, but yeah, they got into it. Really, they were very blunt about their stance on it. It's cool, man.
About being anti-police?
Oh hell yeah!
That's what's up.
This song's about the fucking like pigs.
Dude, I wonder if they checked Freddie Gibbs, because his whole his crowd chant was, "Let me hear you say fuck police." That was how he went. Which he'd done before. I'd say actually Freddie Gibbs was one of the last. So I went to Dia 2019, and then like a couple of weeks after that, I saw Gate Creeper, and then like the same week Freddie Gibbs, and those were the last shows that I saw before the lockdown.
Shit.
So yeah, I had seen Freddie Gibbs before, was excited to see him again, love the new album, and was certainly stoked to shout "fuck police" at the top of my lungs. That's tight though. I wonder if Destroy Boys check Freddie Gibbs, because I'm sad I missed them. So we talked a little bit about Provoker. They were great. I mean, they were just good. That album's good. Their music, like I don't know what else I could say, but they were tight. They deserve have the opportunities that they get beyond, whatever, nepotism might offer them. You know what I'm saying?
I really like them, man. I really like their sound. I mean, I've always liked that type of sound. So yeah, I mean, they're great. They're a really good vibe too, for sure.
You skipped Freddie Gibbs to hang out in Campus Spot for Turnstile, who you had literally seen the night before. Before we talk about Turnstile at Dia, well, anymore, because obviously you ran into Tom DeLonge, but we talk about seeing them. Where did you see them? At the Shrine, or was it where the?
It was at the Shrine. So I've been eyeing these tickets for a bit now, and I was like, I really want to take my son, because my son's really in an emo screamo stage, but I think he can appreciate all types of music, but I think the hardcore scene is like where I kind of want to like push him
just a little nudge, a little nudge.
But he's into it. I played the record for him, and he's just like, yeah, I like it. But dude, so they got one of them got sick on Sunday, and they said they had to cancel a couple shows, but that they would come back Wednesday, the day of the show here
in LA. Yeah.
So that's when I bought the tickets. I bought them right there. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, let me get them now, right? But then they last minute, the day before, they rescheduled Wednesday to Friday, and I was like, fuck, that like threw things off. Yeah, so didn't end up taking my son. Had a homie who came through last minute. Actually, his name's Robert too. He's LA Robert.
Tight. That's what's up. And, shout to LA Rob. Shout to LA Rob.
Cool. I mean, that dude's always down. The funny thing, I text him, hey man, I got an extra ticket to the show. You want to go? He's like, yeah, great. And then like hours later, he's like, hey man, cool man, I'm down. Oh, by the way, who's playing? He had already said yes. He's like, who's playing? Yeah, that's how he rolls. So going into dude, I had to close that night too. So I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make the set. Like, took an Uber from Century City to pretty much where USC's at. That's where the Shrine is. And dude, I got there 9:30, maybe like 4 minutes later, they started playing. I was like, oh shit, the timing, right?
Perfect.
And my homie's asking me, he's like, hey man, so what do these guys sound like? Like, what's their sound? I was like, and this is what I get from them. And this is why I think I'm really just kind of obsessing over them. I love At the Drive-In, and I hear a lot of At the Drive-In in them.
Interesting.
vocals, especially of the dynamic, right?
Oh yeah,
Because
and they got kind of that like
yeah.
that yeah.
Yeah, you know, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's that like shake, it's that
Yeah.
yeah.
It's almost that offbeat. So what is that? Samba beat. Shout out
Yeah.
to Tony Hajir from the drummer from Matt the Drown. I love that dude. He's a nice dude. So I was like, they sound like at the drive-in. They've got some Faith No More. I feel like they've got a Faith No More sound. You know, it's punk, it's hardcore. And I kind of left it at that. And like a couple of minutes later, I'm like, oh wait, by the way, yeah, and you can dance to this too. Like
Truly.
that's turnstile.
What a great, that's super on point like description, but also one of a kind. I don't think I've ever heard them bust it down like that. That's pretty rad. And you were committed to going. You went the night before you were going. You saw them back to back. That's hard. But that show at the Shrine, though, that was different.
Oh, so I mean, the Shrine, for someone that's never been there, it's like a slightly oversized gym, like school gym, basically.
Right.
And so it's a great venue to see. I mean, we were able to stand all the way in the back. I'm not, dude, I've seen their videos. I'm not fucking with that pit, bro. Like,
right. Right. Yeah.
Huge. And, you know, whatever. I appreciate my space. So we stood in the back and we still had a really good view of the band with arm's distance with everyone, which was really great.
Wow.
And dude, it was, I mean, obviously you go to someone's show, that's their proper show that they're headlining, you're going to get like fans. The energy is just fucking great, dude. And everyone was just pumping out like vocals and lyrics and stuff. And one of the main highlights, and I posted this, the fucking sax solo on Alien Call. Oh my God.
So good. So good. Like it belongs. It belongs. It should be in the song.
Tobias Moody, man. That's the dude. Oh my God. Like it's just so seamless, man. It gave me the fucking chills. And I love that song. And when I heard it come on, I was like, oh shit, they're playing the song. And this dude bust out the sax. I was like, God damn.
You could tell, like, obviously they're having a moment, and their moment has been going on, and it's going to continue because they're going to continue on the road with Blink for the next year.
That's such great exposure for them. Yeah.
So huge. And it's really cool to see the other musicians that are excited about them. Like Sarah from Fantagram was geeked. Like, oh, we haven't talked about Fantagram.
Yeah.
But she was like recording their shit the whole time because they were right before Turnstile. Or no,
Pentagram was before Turnstile.
It's okay. So it was Gibbs and then Fantagram, and then I should probably have prepared this, but you know what the fuck? Yeah, you could see like she was filming that whole shit, and then the night before at your show at the Shrine, like mad celebs were and musicians. Like I saw a picture of Scotty and Nick Hexum, like with Turnstile, like like yeah. Like I think Scotty Ian took his kid, and Nick Hexum is in the photo. And it's like, I don't know, Amber is his energy. It was dope though, just like and there was bad people there. The same with Dia. Like I know Vows was there. Like I know other bands were there, other people that we didn't see, but like to see the ones that are getting excited about the young up and coming band, like that's tight. It was just exciting. It's exciting to see.
They're really good, dude. And I keep telling people, like anytime I get a chance to talk about them, they're special, man. They just have something, and like I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I saw them a couple of weeks ago here in Minneapolis. It was, I don't know, probably 3 weeks ago now, and it was not as, I don't think, as unique as the show that you saw in LA, but still that energy about the crowd. I thought there were going to be more chicks. Surprisingly, there were not at the. But there were a bunch of older folks, which was like, okay, that to me, yeah. So
respect.
From where we were, like there was a bunch of older people in the seats that were like right in front of us. And I was like, shit, it's like all their parents came to the show or some shit. Like it was like a whole section. And I was like, okay, so this band is having like a transcendent, like they're not just touching the generation that is in front of them, like they're starting to really branch out. It's cool. It's really cool to see a band that's like, especially a rock band, hardcore band. It's rad. And then they're opening for fucking, they're not opening, but they're fucking right under the bill, right under Deftones on their fucking like what?
Yeah.
Crazy, dude. Oh, cool.
So good. So happy.
Yeah, truly. It's, and man, hopefully it keeps going. Hopefully it keeps going for other hardcore bands too. We didn't really talk about Fantagram. What did you think about Fantagram?
I thought they were really good, man. I forget how many songs they have.
Right.
Like how many like hit songs. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, that's them. Oh yeah, that's right, that's them. Like shit, like they were great. They put on a really good show. And I was telling you, I think I got a lot of not post, but like later Depeche Mode years type of sound from them, which I love later. Like you're talking like Ultra and stuff, where it's really guitar heavy but still electronic and stuff. It's like, okay, I see you guys. And you mentioned the possible conversations, right, between them and Chino, right?
For sure. You know they did. And speaking of Depeche Mode, I think Chino was wearing a Depeche Mode t-shirt during the performance. I haven't gotten to watch as we start to segue into this. Let's go through it song by song, but just a couple of notes before we start. I'm pretty sure Chino was wearing a Depeche Mode t-shirt. And then your sister pointed out that Carnation is, I mean, if that shit is not the Violator card, like, come on. And I'm so glad that she spotted that, because that shit was like, oh, they just made it blue.
Yeah, straight up. I didn't catch it right away, but when she mentioned, I'm like, oh yeah.
It was like, obviously. It's, I feel like we talked about Joe earlier. Joe said something once, it was like, there is no Chino without Morrissey. But I think that is obviously equally true about Depeche Mode. Like, damn, they'd be taking all the fucking DM stuff, bro. Like, all of that shit, and then repurposing it in a way that totally works for them. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, well, to me, like, you talk Morrissey, and he's part of that trinity, the trinity of Morrissey, Depeche Mode, and The Cure. Mm-hmm. And I think like those three bands alone have inspired so many people. And I know for damn sure Chino knows, if you talk about like a post-punk new wave like trinity, like you'll need these three bands right off the bat. And there's no Chino without those three bands, I think. Yeah.
That's, I mean, spot on. Okay, let's get into it. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, that's good.
So, from my memory, that boom bap hit, and I think when we had the conversation in May, I was like, bro, I never get tired of My Own Summer. Like for some reason when I hear that shit live, I'm just like fucking jacked. Like it just does that thing for me. But I'm not gonna lie, when they opened with My Own Summer, I was like, huh? I was like, oh, word.
You gonna do this shit?
I didn't know. I just didn't know. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I fully expected it to be Genesis. I mean, we had done that. You set up the set list bet with Andy and with your sister, and like Genesis. I'm pretty sure Genesis was my first song. Like I just expected. We should have known. I feel like now in hindsight, from that moment, that the shit was gonna hit the fan, but I didn't. I was just like, huh? It was still hard. It was still great. What was it the same for you? Were you experiencing that same thing? Were you like,
bro, I don't. The funny thing is, we didn't talk about this, but like literally, that was my thought. Like I was like, oh, so we're gonna keep it safe, right? Like
yes, almost me, yes.
For me, I was like, oh, so Be Quiet and Drive's coming up next.
right. I was like, well, even in my set list with the little fake set list for the bed, I was like, that's Bing Bang. That's how it goes. Is that same one and this one? I can't tell you. I bet you if you look at the stats, those songs have been played back to back, like as many times as they've been played. I would imagine. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
That's so crazy.
Felt the same way, man. That's funny. We didn't even talk about that. Yeah.
That's so crazy. But then,
dude, that drum roll, that fucking drum intro. I remember looking back at you and we had the same facial expression. We were like,
it was just jaw open. I was like, I felt like I've been punched in the gut, honestly. Like my breath had been stolen. I was like, especially like with that sort of, it was almost like I got rope-a-doped. You know what I'm saying? Like we got rope-a-doped. They started with Summer and then stepped into fucking Rapture.
bro.
When he was like, 2, I was like, oh, it's really fucking happened.
Yeah. They're like,
and I'm not even like a Saturday night wrist guy like that. Like, I mean, I kind of am now because I'm not gonna lie. For however many days it's been since the show, I've been walking around, but like, you.
oh yeah,
That's been me. A Rapture, dog.
dude. I mean that drum roll hit, and I was like, oh shit. And like Chino was going hard on it, man.
Hard.
Like, he was putting in, and like I remember telling you too, like, because there's that hard section, but then it was like, all right, bro, it's time to dance. It was like, oh
yeah. I love that. I really love that part about the performance too, because it has that dichotomy in that song like that. And I also couldn't tell like what the audience response to it was. Like I couldn't tell how they were feeling it. I don't know, because I was super drunk or because I was,
we were just into it, bro.
It was just like fully felt like, even though, we weren't like up close or anything, but I felt like I was in a room with Deftones and they were playing Rapture for me. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just that you were like, it was, and then they fucking debut Error. By the way, Rapture hadn't been played since 2009. So they literally waited 13 years to bring that back. Shit. 2009 was the last time they played Rapture.
Damn, I thought it was set list. Wow.
Crazy.
And they went into Error after?
And they went into Error. And then I was surprised. I mean, I guess I just expected it again, like more of the familiar shit before they started pulling out. Like they just dove into, but that's sort of like I've been telling people, like when Rapture played, we all bets were off. Like we knew that was it. Like I just didn't know that it was like that.
Anything was on the table at that point.
And Error was so like, I'm really glad that they chose that song of the new songs, or one of the new songs to debut. Like, because the end is just so, I've said it before, it's like a kaleidoscope of sound. And so to be able to like hear Steph play it and hear Chino sing it, and
dude, that's vintage Abe on drums. That end of Error, those rolls, those like dun 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 dun. That's Abe. That's just Abe.
Yeah.
And I fucking knew they were gonna play it, man. Like I was like, they're gonna play that shit live. Because of the dynamic of that song. I'm like, it's just gonna be so good live. One note, and I could be tripping on this, but like I noticed that Abe was playing a different snare on the Ohm songs.
Really?
Like the snare almost didn't have as much of a pop. I could be tripping, but like I noticed that. I was like, oh, and I know he likes to fuck with snare, so I was like, I could be
interesting. I'm excited. I really want to. I wish I'd had the opportunity to watch the show again before we got into it, but one of the Patio Slave dudes filmed it from the front row. He got all the way to the front and filmed the whole show. So shout out to the Patio Slave. I'm really excited. I want to watch his feed.
Check that out. Shit.
Okay, so after they did Error, this was low key like the highlight of the night for me as far as the set. Well, I mean, Needles of Piz was probably fucking like crazy as shit for me, but Minus Blindfold got me just jumping. Like that song, the adrenaline stuff, really, all of it is like, it's comfort food, but it's not the kind of comfort food that you like. You're like, oh, this is a warm hug on my tummy. it's that shit that makes you jump. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when Minus Blindfold came on, bro, I was hyped.
Chino's practically rapping, bro.
He is. I know, and that's part of it for me for sure. But it's everything about that song. First time since 2017, they played Minus Blindfold. The next song, bro, I didn't even know what was going on when they started playing 976 Evil. I was like, what? I was in this just state of shock and disbelief.
So when I heard Minus Blindfold, I'm glad they picked that song, but I thought they were just going to revert back to, okay, we're going to keep it safe.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool, let's play some old stuff. Like, let's play like another song.
Play Bored right now or whatever. Yeah.
But nah, fam. 9-7 up, dude, that warmed my heart. I was longing for my wife at that point.
I remember looking at you and us both being first like without color, like we were both pale, like we were both just aghast, like, is this happening? But I remember you being like clutching your chest, like, I think you were on the verge of tears. You probably cried a little bit. Don't lie, you did.
I almost did, man. But like,
I bet I did. I bet I teared up a little bit. I was pretty lit.
that one hit, dude. It's just so nice to hear and so refreshing. I love that song, man.
And not getting a lot of notes as far as I've seen since the performances, like on social media, because it was not the live debut, although it really was the first time they've played it in like a show. Because the time that they played it was like that the time that they played Diamond Eyes all the way through, and it's when it dropped, it was like in Dallas, I think. So it was for all intents and purposes, a live debut, I think. You know what I mean? Like, certainly they'd never played it at a festival or
I don't want
that was one of a kind.
I don't want to digress, but like I never really gave it too much thought. I never looked into it, but like, damn, man, to play a whole album through live when it first came out, what made them want to do that? Not that that's a bad thing, but that's an interesting topic for another day.
That is a great question. I bet somebody has the answer to that question. Vesnick and I talked about that show a little bit. I think for the Dia special that we did last year. But
that's a pandemic type of move. Let's play it live, like, because everyone's on lockdown, right?
And I think a lot of people were really hoping for that for Pony. A lot of people were really hoping that was going to happen for Pony because it was 20. It was 20 in 2020, and everyone was like, play it, but not easy. Not Deftones. Deftones aren't doing that shit. But yeah. One of a kind experience. 976 Evil live, man. That was like, and that was from there on out. Like they could have done the same old.
Yeah, like
for the rest of the night.
A good amount at that point.
And they did jump into Rocket Skates, which I guess is sort of, I mean, it's a staple. It's a staple. I sort of feel like Rocket Skates didn't have the same energy for me because or maybe I didn't have the same energy for Rocket Skates because I was just so winded. I was like, bro, we just hurt. Did anybody else check the last 3 songs?
Like my heart's still recovering.
Like I was like, I'm not ready for the guns and the razors and the knives yet.
Yeah, we were pretty low key on the guns and the razors in the match, right?
For real,
like banging, but we were acknowledging.
we were
great.
It was not. The experience was still. We were still riding high. I think we were still like bopping and jamming and excited and everything. But I mean, bro, when they kicked in the needles and pants, dude, it was like that thing that was sort of absent from me, like that engagement, that mental, like, okay, come back to earth. You know what I'm saying? And this is something that I've mentioned to a couple of folks as well. And it sort of, I think, was triggered by like Rapture, by the fact that they started playing these songs that they don't play. I didn't know what was going to happen, bro. I really didn't know. And that's so like with a Deftones show, you sort of understand. You go into it if you've been to enough. Like, all right, now this is the part where they slow it down, or this is the part where they pick it up. You know what I'm saying?
Pattern.
You know the rhythm. Yeah, you know the pattern.
Yeah. Not here. No.
Not that Saturday night. Not that Saturday night in San Diego. That shit, when they hit Needles and Pins, dog. I think you looked at me and you were like, I feel like you shook me. You were like, dude, do you know? And I was like, I still don't have words. I still don't have words.
Andy was saying, because Andy got up front, like he got like really fucking close.
Because he disappeared early. He must have got up front because he was gone. He was holding that spot.
I remember he straight up told me like, man, I'm getting close. Fuck this. And that was the last time I saw him.
And that was it.
Hey, respect that. But like he was telling me, or he mentioned that as soon as he saw the bass come out and it got handed to Steph, he's like, oh, it's coming. Like it's fucking Needles. Like
I'm sort of glad that we were where we were, so that I didn't identify those sorts of things. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't looking for it. I was thinking about, do I have much, booze? Where's my weed? You know what I mean? Like I was thinking about those things. Because it was rocket skates. And it was like, yeah, guns, razors, knives. All right, now's the time where I need to really check myself. Come back, get back in my body.
That musical note when it hit, like, I was like, oh shit.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And it was the first time since 2015 that Needles and Pins was played. Needles and Pins, by the way, I love running through some of these music stats that Setlist provides. So with Needles and Pins, the only self-titled song that night, Needles and Pins has been played 48 times live.
They played it on the self-titled tour for sure, so they probably played it the whole time.
The most of that, that they played it 23 times in the self-titled tour they played it 11 times.
Oh shit!
11 times in 2003, and actually, you know what? They played it a bunch in 2010. They played it 23 times in 2010, but it's not on my set list. I think I might have seen it in 11.
Yeah, that's fucking interesting, man. That's like basically they're touring on Koi, right?
In 2010, that was Diamond Eyes tour.
Diamond Eyes, excuse me.
Yeah.
Shit.
2015 though, they did play it 9 times. And then like single digits from there. 3 times in 2009, once in 2004, and then 1 time in 2022.
Damn.
Just fucking insane. And then, Rapture. Rapture was one that I wanted to look up the stats for, because Rapture has not been played very many times. Can you tell me what would you guess the number of times Rapture has been played live?
I mean, I'll give you I'd say under 20 times for sure.
That is correct. 17 times.
Hey.
Bro, you've seen Rapture one of the 17 times that they played. They played it 11 times in 2006. Okay. 4 times in 2007 and once in 2009. And that was it. That was the last time they played it.
Dude, I want to say they played it at the Virgin Megastore signing that I went to.
Sick.
Fuck. And that was like when the album came out. Pretty sure they played it that day.
Well, wow. and it was played, as we noted, before the album came out. It was a lot of people's introduction to. I know they played it in Minneapolis prior to the album release, but just wild to think about a song like that. This album now that has so much like mystique and everything about it, and then they bring out these songs from it's like incredible, just incredible. So from there, they debuted Goon Squad. This is so crazy.
So I'm just gonna say this right now: out of all the songs they played that that we weren't expecting or hoping or whatever you want to call it, that fucking song went hard. Like that was the one that like you guys should play this all the time. Type of deal.
It really did. It really did. The build up at the beginning to when it hits and the way it soars. I'm not a Goon Squad guy. Like I don't hate or dislike Goon Squad. I like Goon Squad. I like every Deftones song. They're all great. But it's not like one that I'm like, oh, let me go listen to Goon Squad.
I didn't get the merch for Goon Squad.
That's what I was just gonna say. You and I, we both talked about this. Like, I'm not a goon.
Yeah.
I might be a little bit, but I'm not a goon. Man, that shit was great. I got a whole new level of appreciation and fondness for fucking Goon Squad. That shit was great.
And I guess I'm not really too technical with it, but like, there's that main riff. And then in the latter part of the song, when like that main riff goes into like a lower note, I don't know. For some reason that stood out to me because I was like, God damn, this shit is so fucking good live. Like
it's something that just occurred to me. I apologize because it's not about Goon Squad, it's actually about Needles and Pins. Lance, bro. That motherfucker screaming his ass off, dog.
We have to acknowledge that.
He's screaming like that shit. Chi would be proud.
Yo, he tapped into Chi. Once again, that whole vibe going on that day. And like, it was just, I truly believe Chi was there, bro. Like, I'm not even being cheesy. I'm not being like nothing. I believe in it. He was there because that fucking scream.
That was it.
Oh, chef's kiss, bro. Shout out to fucking Lance, man.
It was yeah. That was special. That was like that brought me back. That brought me back.
I mean, it was so seamless too. Like, obviously, we're used to listening to the record. It's not until you mentioned it, I was like, yeah, no fucking shit. That was like, it's to the T, man.
Like to the T. I would even go so far as to think that there is a likelihood now that returns those songs with the Chi screams return to a more frequent rotation, especially as they are gonna, I guess, play the new metal festivals or whatever kind of other shit that they're gonna do. Hey, are you dropping 300 on the ticket for that?
You know what, man? If it means seeing Chino play Bender with Seven Dust, maybe.
Dude, that I wish in one hand, bro. Wish in one. There's no chance. I feel like didn't he do a song with Cold Chamber?
Did he? Don't recall.
Or did Dez do a song? I feel like they did a collab or something. I feel like there's some other like things that are maybe more
with who? With Chino and Cold Chamber?
Yeah, like there's a greater likelihood of, I guess, Korn and Deftones doing Wicked, or like Chino jumping out for a System tune again, or something along that. It would be weird to see like an Incubus crossover. I feel like those things are more on the table than I don't think Chino gives a fuck about Seven Dust or Bender. I'm just gonna put it Bender,
bro. That's like one of like that's like Chino peak, man. Like vocal wise for me, like I know like.
I'm gonna tell you why I don't think Chino's gonna do it. I don't mean to dominate like this, but I'm gonna tell you why I think Chino's not gonna do it. Chino is the best part of that song.
Dude,
the rest of that song is not good enough for Chino. It's just not. And I love Seven Dust. And I'm gonna tell you this too. I don't think Seven Dust this is gonna be shitty. I think Morgan Rose plays to a backing track now. I don't think he sings. Like, and he screams, he does his obnoxious scream thing, which sucks. Especially because Lejean is like an all-time great singer. Why the fuck would they even put a microphone in front of Morgan? I don't know. It makes me, it bothers me. But I just don't. I think that like for reasons, I don't think Chino's trying to go back to that place.
Oh, bro, it's just
I don't think
that hook, bro, with Chino, man. It's just like that's I'm telling you, that's peak Chino, man. But I know I was saying that's the best, like.
You think it's the best collab?
Dude, I mean, I always go to that song and I'm just like, God damn, this is still good. What's your best Chino collab, really quick?
Man, that's a great question. I feel like the recency bias is getting me. I kind of like that Trippie Redd song a lot.
Dude, that's a really good one. Yeah.
I think that one is great. And then he just did that track with Polyphia. I don't know if you've heard that yet.
Oh my gosh.
It's like it came out the same day Vivian came out. So it's hella new. And Polyphia is a band that like is all about this musicality and like how many notes can we pack into, like they're doing, and it's like a whole bunch of different styles together. Like there's hip hop, there's metal, it's like prog, everything. And Chino is brilliant on the song. Like he's producing it. So I said this on the episode with Jeff. Like he's just putting out music at such a high quality level right now that for me that stuff is superseding, I think, some of the earlier features or collabs or whatever.
Got a really good ear, man. It's got a really good ear for music.
I don't know if that's the case. I'm just a fucking Deftones nerd.
Oh no, I'm saying like Chino's got.
Oh, Chino's got an ear. Oh, okay.
Oh sure, yeah, you're great too.
Yeah, why would you?
You're great too.
I'm fine. But I think you're right. No, I think that's on point. Like I think that's like his ability to shapeshift almost, or to meld into whatever is working. It's singular for sure. So after Goon Squad, which was insane, they played Swerve City. I think I was still a little too like blown away by Goon Squad, but I do remember them playing Swerve City. Like I remember like bouncing and jumping and being like stoked on it.
I remember liking the pace again. We spoke about this at the Milwaukee show, like having someone else play guitar rather than Chino doing double duties. Like the pace just is better and like just more to the record, and it sounds great. Yeah, it's good.
Setlist FM noted that prior to Be Quiet and Drive, which was the next song, there was an impromptu singing of We've Only Just Begun by the Carpenters, which I remember, and it was cute, but it's, I don't know, sort of silly that they even mentioned it here. And then they played Lotion, which was definitely a highlight for me in Milwaukee. I'm super stoked to hear it again. Still just...
It was nice to hear it again, yeah.
Still just... I felt like, though, at this point, like, I was like, what else are they going to do? You know what I mean? Like, I was like, okay, this is familiar, but now I kind of feel like I'm expecting them to do some wild shit.
Yeah.
And then they played fucking Cherry Waves.
Oh, man. That was really sweet to hear, too, man. That was another one that was like a heart warmer, for sure.
The waves on the screens, the red lights.
It was like a female just kind of floating.
Highlight for sure. Well, like what? It was so good. It was
like
so
romantically drowning.
Yeah. And then a few minutes later they played Digital Bath and electrocuted her ass. No, but Cherry Waves, a song that's been played a lot, but not since it looks like 2018. And that was only once. 15, they played it once. 14, they played it once. 17, 4 times. 13, twice. I mean, they last played it heavily, like on the Saturday Night Wrist tours. So in 06, 07 was when it was getting love. And then it looks like they played it a couple dozen times in 2011. So for all intents and purposes, they really hadn't played it with any sort of regularity since 2011.
Jesus. I mean, that's wild to me that they played it in 2017. Like, never would have guessed.
And when you talk to people, especially I feel like people who are fans of Saturday Night Wrist, which I feel like is an increasing number of fans, especially the younger fans, the 30 and younger fans, that's their song, bro. That's the one. They're like Saturday Night Wrist, Cherry Waves. And were those dudes? Was the dude who was the alternate in the Weinstein case? How old do you think they were? They were under 30, huh?
Oh yeah, they were under 30, max 32. I don't know. Like they were young. They were hella young.
Definitely not Weinstein's peers. definitely not a jury of his peers. But yeah, like incredible. Just like I told you, I've been singing that shit for days. For days now. So then again, it had been a while. They played RX Queen right after Cherry Waves.
Finally got to see that song live. I've never seen that song live.
Oh, really? Word? I don't.
Yeah.
I should have done an inventory of the songs that I hadn't. I feel like I'd seen RX Queen live before, but
So, do you have a list of all the songs you've seen?
No.
I was gonna say, I was like, oh shit, bro! Like, you have all the songs.
I want to make that list. I really do. I want to make that list. I just have kids, and so I don't have time to do shit like that. I mean, they beat that shit up in 2006. That was the last time they really played it heavy, which is sort of
right with the street drum corps.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly right. That was probably when I saw him.
Yeah, I was pissed I didn't go to that. I mean, I didn't want to go to that show just because I wasn't into the other bands, but I was kind of upset because I was like, God damn it, they played that fucking song.
Yeah. And then it sounded great. It was really to that point too, the only Pony song. Yeah. And one of only they played 4. But yeah, like the first Pony song, 13 songs in. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, they really challenged themselves, I think, and I'm not gonna I love them, and and there are things that sounded a little off. I think they experienced some issues, some sound issues, because he did leave the stage for a couple minutes, right?
Oh yeah, he did, huh?
Said he had to take a shit or something, but it's all good. I don't know.
Somebody scratch his belly for a minute.
But yeah, there's times where you hear something and you're like, ooh, but it's that energy and just the excitement of seeing these songs live, man. It's none of that little shit mattered really at that point.
Truly. Yeah. If you were nicking pits, picking nits, you were not in the moment. You were not enjoying the celebration, Yeah. And RX Queen, facts. Facts up emoji. RX Queen in a digital bath, which was great. In the ceremony, live debut ceremony.
As soon as he kicked it on that too, I think I grabbed your shoulder. I was like, "You called it."
So stoked. I mean, they named a goddamn beer after this. They should have played all the beer songs. They should have just had a string. Here are the beer songs. Good Morning Beautiful. We didn't hear. We didn't hear all the Belching Beaver set.
San Diego,
right?
Yeah.
By the way, Belching Beaver did not make enough of that Dia beer for that night because motherfuckers went through that shit before Turnstile went on stage. You could not get a Dia. You could not get the Mexican lager. By the time Turnstile hit the stage, I went to the little bar, and that was great too because they had little stations throughout the park where you could buy beer or liquor. And there was an older gal that I went to, one of the vendors, and she was like, I was like, you got any Dia beer left? And she was like, the Def Leppard beer. I was like, bitch, you're fired. Get out.
Def Leppard beer. Oh boy, she probably had a couple of those Dias. Damn. Oh boy, that's funny. That's Def Leppard. I would always see them when I would go look into the record store and look for Deftones stuff. Always Def Leppard. Right there.
Def Leppard. I don't want that shit. I'm not looking for that shit. So yeah, ceremony, live debut. They go off stage, come back to Genesis, which felt sort of weird for the encore. I don't know. I was I guess my expectations of it being the first song it was still wonderful to hear and great.
It was that snare, man. I'm telling you, I felt it different than when we saw it in Milwaukee, but we were also farther this time on the rails, so big difference in that. Yeah.
And then Change, of course, and then finished with Back to School, which was really surprising to have that be the closer.
They've done that before, I feel.
That has been where they've closed the show with Back to School?
I feel like they have, because I remember seeing something and I was like, really? This song, it closed? And I just can't.
I feel like you were like that night too. I feel like you were like, really? No, there's got to be another one.
Like, motherfucker, we gave you all this shit. We're done.
That's that Dia feeling like, I feel like you guys could play for another half hour, 45 minutes. Just keep going. And you're like, shit, this is the last one. But Back to School was kind of fun. I also sort of feel like there is an awareness within the band of the like desire and love for Pink Maggot, and they're just not gonna do it. I don't mean to be that dude, but I just don't see, like, it doesn't fit anywhere in a set list. Like, you know, like where do they put that song? It's really hard to imagine that within the context of a performance, with, you know, where everybody's jumping and running around and dancing and all of that, and then they're gonna play Pink Maggot when they could play Back to School and sort of give you the, you know, the rap rock version of it. It's, I hate to be that guy, but I just sort of feel like it was like an acknowledgement of like, yeah, we know you want it, but this is what you're going to get.
So then what you're saying is that I get a point for calling Pink Maggot.
Yes. Yes.
So
yes.
I'm tied with Andy.
And
I got 8.
You did get 8.
I got 8. Yeah.
And he did that shit. He was like, I know the tunings, so that's how I'm guessing.
I know. I was like, fuck, this guy's gonna win.
Cheating ass musician. No, that's yes, you definitely get. So now everybody has to S or D the next time we go to SD. That's the plan.
You know, the thing with Pink Maggot, that's the type of song you play when you don't have a lot of songs to play live. And Deftones have a shitload of songs to play live. And it's hard to fit something like that in, for sure. Wishful thinking on my part, but like, yeah, you're right.
I mean, they didn't touch Gore.
I was hoping they would, man. And I'm like, fuck y'all motherfuckers that don't like it. Here's Acid Hologram.
Yeah, here's Acid Hologram. I'm like, fuck yeah. I guarantee you there are as many people who would have been like, I don't know what this is, if they'd have played Acid Hologram as they probably had when they were like, there's 976 Evil. You know, I bet there were mad people who were like, brand new. Oh, Turnstile's playing. Let's get a ticket. You know what I mean? And that's okay. You know what I mean? That's you don't have to know all the songs or whatever. But I bet fans who also love Gore would have been just as stoked. I don't know. You can't really poke holes in this set though either. Like I'm not trying to be like, I wish I would have heard Gore instead of. You know what I mean? Like fuck no. Like all of this was perfect. I wouldn't change a thing.
All right, that's it for our recap of the 3rd annual Dia De Los Deftones. Huge thanks to my brother Miguel Sanchez for kicking it with me here. And an even bigger thanks to our wives for giving us the time to kick it and talk about our favorite band. Let's hope it's more than speculation that Deftones will be heading into the studio soon, right? I mean, I truly cannot wait to hear what they're going to do next. My name is Woody. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Woodbruh. If you would like to reach me, that is also the best way to stay up to date on this podcast. Otherwise, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and if you have a good story about Deftones, hit me up. I'd love to hear it. Until next time, thank you for listening to Deftones, and thank you for listening to Change in the House of Pods.